Welcome back to another episode of BXB Pod. This is season 2. We're back with our guest Mark Williams. Mark was with us for season 1. We're back with Mark down at his house for season 2. So to kick off the interview, Mark, how has your impact as a play developer has changed the lives of your players, more importantly off the court, less on the court?
Wow, great question. First, thank you for having me back on season 2.
For sure.
It was a great opportunity to be on season 1. I think the biggest thing that's helped the players off the court is actually what happened on the court, and that's me and my staff instilling confidence in the player, him or herself. If you believe and are confident on the court, we truly believe that it translates to the game of life, which is bigger than the game of basketball. And I think that's the biggest thing that we've been able to make a change, and give us fulfillment as skill developers and also as adults to see the next generation come up and just as confident and ensure themselves a very forthright and then honest, and then understand that they are part of a big society as a whole, and that comes from having a great deal of confidence, and I'm happy for them.
Beautiful. Now, you said society plays into the next question I want to ask. How has certain skill sets you've given your players off the court has helped them in terms of like not only earning that college scholarship, but giving them the tools to be successful entrepreneurs or, in a sense, great leaders in their work environments?
I think statistics have shown that hiring athletes in the real world is something that employers really look to do, because we know we as athletes understand the concept of goal setting, being on time, working hard, working as a team, all of those things that you learn from sports, basketball, every sport for that matter, particularly obviously a team sport, where you'll learn to work in society, because that's what we're working towards as a society, is working together for a common goal. I think that athletics as a whole provides that a blueprint and framework for them to be successful in life.
Most definitely agree. Now, your background, for those who don't know, you actually have more experience in the head coaching role, formerly as a coach, and you got into the skill developer side. How has that background of actually having the blueprint of being a head coach has helped you in the skill development side, as opposed to most people who go out and the first thing they do is become a trainer?
Yeah, I think it's what it separates me from others, is what I believe truly. I think the fact that I know what head coaches are looking for, and I've done it on the junior varsity level, the varsity level, and the collegiate level also. And I just know what coaches are actually looking for in their players. And I'm able, as a skill developer person, I'm able to tell the trainee, him or her, what their coach is going to look for as far as what their role should be. So I try to tailor the skill development towards that and enhancing their skills and their roles, and hopefully that'll help the team as a unit be successful in the long term.
I like what you said about, trying to focus more on the role as opposed to focus on just the skill itself. I think sometimes we kind of bottleneck things and focus on, well, this person cannot shoot that well, this person cannot dribble that well, but in a sense, what role do they play best for their team? Right. I think it kind of gets lost in translation. So in terms of that same exact point, how can individuals who are working in this space, this is a trainer with no head coach experience, how can they go out and add value and add impact the right way towards their clientele?
Oh, they can definitely give them skill development enhancement. They can give them the drills that they need that's going to help them to be able to expand their game. But what I try to do is tailor it towards what they're going to actually do in the game. So I think that they definitely play a big role in developing their skills. But I think they need to consult with the AAU coach, high school coach, CYO coach, whoever, not the CYO, but the AAU coach and high school coach, and basically find out what they're expecting of that player. So if a kid thinks that he's going to go out there and be Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, when the coach is looking at him, well, he needs him to be Ron Harper or Tony Allen or someone along those lines. I think there's going to be a little friction between the two, and then the parents get involved, particularly for the younger kids, and now you have a little rift between the coach and the parents and the kid. I think that if you can establish roles early, and then tailor that, like Draymond Green scored 1,000 points in high school. I'm sure he did just as many points at Michigan State, but his role is not that anymore. They have other people that can do that. So he has to pigeonhole himself, humble yourself, but star in that role that has been assigned to you. I think that we try to do a good job of that, and then also provide them an off-season work on their skill development for the next level.
Got you. So ties into my next point. So in terms of like where we're going now in the space of basketball, as we see so many international stars are becoming like the actual faces of the NBA, I would say over half of most NBA teams have an international star. Do you believe a lot of coaches and also skill developers should start focusing on more FIBA actions and sets as the years proceed to help their individuals grow their game if they know they're going to develop a high-level athlete?
Yeah, I think learning, Spanish pick and rolls and twist and curls and stuff like that will definitely help the player understand the game of basketball for the next level. I think first and foremost, if you look at those international players, they're very skilled at certain things as far as passing, shooting, for the most part.
Yeah.
Passing, shooting, dribbling, catching, things that we take for granted here in the States, and we overlook, and we jump straight to the triple step back, as opposed to fundamentally working with stuff that they're really going to use in the game. I think that's where the lapse is the FIBA style is a little different, where they have like a system where they, the major team, and they work there all the way up, club team all the way up.
Yeah.
We're here in America, AAU, whatever.
It's like your closest thing to a club, basically.
But it's just minus the teaching.
Exactly.
Minus
it's
the
teaching. The games,
yeah.
for sure.
So I think that if we as in America were able to translate translate the skill development on a younger age for the young men and women, it will help them in the long run.
Gotcha. And I think that debate's like a whole different topic another day, because I believe we have like an off tangent talk off camera about like how hard it is to try and like corral the youth grassroots region of America when it's so predicated upon going to the NBA. And the NBA is an entertainment style, so it's like, you're already trying to corral those type of pieces, so it's kind of hard to say focus on fundamentals, focus on passing, cutting all that stuff from Wisconsin all the way down to Atlanta, when majority of all these shoe circuits or even just some of these high-level grassroots are looking for like the next top guy to put into that college situation.
I agree, and I think that's why, if you look at today's NBA, and today, 2023, it's a lot of shots as fast as you possibly can, get up and down the court, attack downhill. Whereas if you go to FIBA basketball, obviously it's a faster game over there also, but they're running plays and sets that we actually trying to take it from over there and bring it over here to America, particularly on the NBA level or college level, where there's sets and stuff like that, and different actions and false actions and misdirections. That's is going to lead to an easy bucket. That's why you see a lot of passing, a lot of movement. The Spurs did it early in the 2000s, and then Golden State took it over, and they did a lot of movement stuff like that. So I think if we incorporated more of that teaching as far as when to do certain things on a grassroots level, it'd be beneficial for us when we get to the next level.
I believe so too. I believe a lot of guys who are getting jobs on the NBA are just lacking fundamental skills. Could be as simple as shooting, but like it's a big predicate of why they're not lasting that long in the A.
Yeah, they get the 3-year rookie contract, and it's we'll figure it out from there. Then we got the next group of young athletes coming up.
Yeah, it is a whole new batch, and unfortunately, it's not lasting long. The attrition is very low right now.
Well, yeah, it's an entertainment, man.
Yeah, most definitely. So, when you first got into coaching, what was like your ultimate goal back then?
I'll get players better. Simply that. And I'm passionate about the game, and I argue with a couple people every now and then on text messages. I'm a fundamentalist in saying that I think things are being done too much for the sizzle, and a lot of things are lacking substance. Yeah. And I'm old-fashioned, and I'm cool with saying it, but I'm able to adapt to the modern game. Yeah. But I understand at the end of the day, fundamentals, they went out, without a doubt.
Most definitely.
Without a doubt.
When you first got into your head coaching job, what was some of the trials and tribulations you faced during that time?
Well, I became a head college coach at 23. Now, I'm not saying it was the highest level of basketball, but it was still college level. So some of the players were 19, 20, 21.
Close to you.
Yeah, so that was the hardest thing. As far as them respecting me as an adult at 23, that was the hardest thing. The basketball stuff, I didn't understand all the details, but I learned to go to different clinics and camps and stuff like that. So that helped me out immensely. I was on the Nike circuit as far as going to camps. That's when Nike had the camps and stuff, not championship production. So when it was Nike, I would travel. I would like follow Krzyzewski. He was in Springfield, Mass. one week. Then he would go to Wisconsin for another week. Then he would go to Connecticut. I would be at all of them, just to learn different aspects of the game and stuff that they were doing in, I want to say 92, 93, 93, 94, whatever those times were. Still used to this day.
Got you.
To this day.
Got you.
To this day.
To this day. So you think like, that kind of gave you the foundation of like how to handle pressure?
Yeah, and parents yelling at you teaches you how to learn pressure also.
Yeah.
Luckily, I wasn't in a position on the collegiate level where I had to win games to keep my job. It was more of like an activity thing that we did at part of it was a part-time job.
Yeah.
Maybe I made $1,400 in 1993 and 4, something like that, a long time ago.
Yeah.
So that's like pocket money for some people, right?
Yeah.
So it really wasn't a lot of pressure on that aspect. It was pressure on myself because I really wanted to rise up in the ranks. But that was the only pressure. I never had any other type of pressure.
Got you.
That was it.
So when did you first begin your journey with Team Footprintz?
That happened when I came back to New York. I was in Vermont for the most part with the college coaching. I came back to New York, and then I noticed I started coaching high school. Damn that, I started coaching JV girls high school first. I went from college, I had to humble myself to get into the New York City circuit.
Yeah.
I coached JV girls high school. Whoa. It was probably the best experience of my life, basketball-wise, only from this coaching standpoint. It allowed me to see that fundamentals were lacking. And particularly on that level, JV, nobody really cares about a jump stop and reverse pivot and stuff like that. So we did a lot of that. And we actually won, I don't know if it was the city championship back then, but we're pretty good.
Yeah.
We're pretty good. And then the head coach retired, and then I took over the varsity, and that's hard. Only in New York City, I'm sure in every city, it's hard because you have to be kind of in bed with the AAU program to feed you, stuff like that. And I'm not a follower or anything like that. I'm not that kind of guy. So I try to do everything on my own, and recruiting plays was really hard. But we still won some games, and we attracted some top-notch players. So that led me to really focusing a lot on Footprintz, as far as the training company is concerned. And then my partner with my man Tyleek Brown, who's currently at St. John's. And then I started training some pros, and then that gravitated to me doing the younger players also. So it was a great time. I really enjoyed it.
Gotcha. So the term Footprintz, like how did you come up with that name? What inspired you to go there?
I seen the poem Footprintz.
Okay,
but it
Footprints in the sand.
Right, but it really stemmed from make your own. Like every individual person has his or her own footprint, just like their fingerprint.
Yeah.
And I want everybody to be their own singular person, and their own individual, and make their own footprint. I put the Z on it because we want to be different. So I didn't want to be like Footprints in the sand. They say, oh, you stole it from Footprints in the sand.
So you put a Z.
Put a Z on it. So everything you see with us is like a footprint with a Z. A Z.
A little small copyright.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Smart man.
Same thing.
Smart man. So, in terms of like running Footprintz right now, we're in the space of where everybody's trying to become an entrepreneur per se. What are some of the highlights, and then what are some of the lowlights you faced so far?
In the training space?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be some times when there's going to be no money coming in, and there's going to be some times when it's going to be more money than you expect. And I think sometimes we get caught up in trying to, we as skill developers trying to be rich, and try to be famous. But I think on our level, it's more about impact, about an impact that you make within the community and the culture. And I think that we're doing a good job with that. But that's one of the highest is the impact, and the lowest is the income.
The droughts. Yeah, I know how it goes. The droughts.
Some droughts is crazy. The summer droughts can be crazy.
They can, especially because of AAU.
Yeah.
And when you got so many top-notch people out there traveling.
It's hard. And then you have AAU programs that try to practice.
Yeah.
And then that messes up. And Tuesdays, it's hard.
Sometimes they're going 4 times a week.
Well, they're in the gym 4 times a week. I don't know what they're doing in the gym, but
That's true. That's
those are the highs and lows for the most part.
For sure. And just to I guess add on to that point, I feel like what you said was very profound is the word impact. Because I feel like when you're a trainer in any space, even if you're a strength coach, whatever, and you're private, you have to focus on community, your grassroots approach, because if not, you're not going to have any type of retentionship.
Right.
You have to focus on beyond the service. It's like, you know, how can I help this kid for the next 3 to 4, 4 to 8, or even a lifetime outside of just paying for my services? And then I believe you just have to keep having that type of model in your mind, and then think like, okay, as this is going on, you know, who do I attract? What schools do I connect with? You know, what programs? And that now every other, you know, 2 or 3 generations, you always have like a new set
batch.
of kids. But I feel like sometimes we get so caught up in the business aspect. But I told one of my mentors that's in Swanee, I said, like, if you're in this space, treat your clients or your players like a nonprofit, but treat your structure like a for-profit. Meaning, like, you know what I'm saying, you checking off all the boxes to be like an Apple or Amazon to be the best of the best, but you're not out here trying to like bamboozle and trick everybody with, you know, marketing tricks. Everything is based upon how well can we serve you, how well can we impact you, and more importantly, how can we get you towards your goals.
Yeah, all of that is perfect, and I mean, if you was writing a dissertation on what I'm about to say, this would be it. I think the biggest thing is add value. Provide them a service beyond the service,
For sure.
so that they'll come back and feel that I want to fuck with Mark or fuck with Sean.
Yeah.
And that's only because if you have a level of expertise in your field, and then you can add additional to it, as opposed to just look at it as a transactional thing, parents, players, appreciate that. And I read a tweet that said if they care if they know that you care.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's big also, particularly in the training aspect, and also sports strength and conditioning. If you care, they care.
And I think you have to want to help people in this space.
I think you should not be in this space if you don't want to help
most
people.
definitely.
Right.
I agree with that.
Right.
But I think most people who have an experience with basketball, even sports or whatever, hop into it because of their background, and they don't have the heart or the patience to actually help build and curate with people.
I agree.
They might be better off as an agent, might be better off as an athletic director, which is like more paperwork, more infrastructure, and less people. But we're in the trenches, as they say. We're the heavy lifters. We're doing all the hard work every day. We're barely getting sleep, but it's for the betterment of others.
Yeah.
And I believe you have to embrace that, because if you don't embrace it, it's just the power of like the mind. You start thinking negative, start saying negative stuff, then you start embracing this negative mindset, become pessimistic, and then in 5 years you're like, there's no growth, but it starts with you.
I agree. And I would caution all the young people getting into the spaces, the various spaces, particularly basketball training. Because you played basketball doesn't necessarily mean that you can train basketball players. And saying that, I mean, there are nuances that you have to learn first before you can actually get out there and start teaching.
Yes, for sure.
And then you got to understand the learning skills of today's kid.
Auditory, visual, kinesthetic, and you gotta think about the pandemic kids. They're extremely.
They're different.
Yeah, they're extremely.
So you have to, and again, go back, I skipped this part. I did 16 years as a special education teacher in the New York City Department of Education. So I'm not saying I'm super equipped to deal with all of that, but I'm more equipped.
You have a better background.
I have a better background to be able to understand that this person learns this way, this person learns this way. So I can't, yell at him or yell at her the same way I would yell at this particular person, because they're way different.
So Kobe, so you got to figure out what buttons to push.
Yeah, and I have a phrase, and I know that my son and one of my favorites, this girl Kayla Robinson. I have a phrase I use in coaching, and some people get mad at it. You can't treat everybody the same, but you can treat everybody fairly. Excuse me, I fucked it all up. You can't treat everybody the same, but you got to treat everybody fairly. So I can't treat you the same as I would treat this particular person, because you're two different people. But I have to treat you fair. I can't just be an asshole to you and not an asshole to this person. If I'm gonna be an asshole, be an asshole.
That's what everybody.
Everybody gonna be assholeish. But I gotta treat you guys differently.
Sure.
So I think that's big too.
For sure. So I know you said you started off wanting to impact players and get them better. Now going to how many years now you've been doing this so far?
Shit. 9 and a half, full time. 9 years.
So going to the decade, and I guess going to like another decade. What are your goals now for yourself? I know you have a group now. You have your Footprintz Media group. You have a lot of people on staff now, and you're actually growing within the community. What's your vision now for Footprintz, and what do you see you guys in the next decade after you've built the foundation?
I think the next step for us is to create our own ecosystem where we're self-sufficient as far as training, I guess evaluating at some point, events, and then also the media component, because we're big in the media. We have very good videographers, great videographers, great photographers. We have a couple of writers on staff, but our bread and butter is still going to be training. We have very good players that's currently overseas that's coming back and learning every time they come back. Learning as far as the training and how to do certain things, but basically create our own ecosystem where we are one-stop shopping, where we can add value to not only the players, parents, and coaches, but also the community as a whole.
I think that's beautiful because like it allows people to like get a real service. Growing up, you're older than me, but you're about to say, growing up, a majority of us unranked guys are guys who want that talent, so we have to go to like, the showcases or go to certain PCs where they'll write us up and stuff like that.
You hope that they wrote you up.
Exactly. But that was it. Then you have to go on the other side of town for training. Then you have to go on the other side of town for another exposure event. So it's like having the ability to where everybody is just here. It just allows a parent, even a player, to have more confidence on like, all right, like, with all these connections, all these services, not only is the money worth it, but I can grow some confidence on like, I can just stay here. I don't gotta hope this is a one-time shot and like I pray to God I do my best.
Yeah, that's the goal. But we also we welcome other people, trainers and players and parents or whatever, to go to other people and to see what the other side looks like. I think you can't really say that we're the best because we have this self-inclusive ecosystem and not understand what the other side is. That's like saying you're going to McDonald's and never trying Wendy's and say that McDonald's is the best. You don't know what the best is to compare it against. So we applaud people that do that, but we know that not everyone's going to come back, but we are aware that at some point, because of the services and what we offer, it's going to attract them back. And it's not only me, again, it's never just Mark Anthony Williams. It's more, the whole Govey?
Let's take the Govey out. Right?
You can keep the Govey. It's not just me. It's Marquia Alexander, who's been with me since the beginning. She played for me in high school. Shaklasia Brown, who's probably one of the best video photographers in the
Clay goes crazy
in the area. Lauren Burkowski, who's like the AK Boogie, one of the best players ever. And Aaliyah, who we just lost Aaliyah. She's now in college and doing
big things.
Yeah, she's moved on. Amani Tatum, who's like one of the best players at Manhattan College. Like these people are coming back, and these are people that we trained. So they're coming back now. They're providing for the next generation. So I'm cool just sitting being the old man in the corner and saying, no, you're doing it wrong. And then come down, it takes me an hour to get downstairs to come correct them. By that time they done moved on. But that I'm cool with that and dealing with the social media aspect stuff also.
For sure. Now time to add like a little light conversation. How was finally overcoming the hump this summer?
Winning the championship?
How was that feeling?
We've been doing this Pro-Am thing for the women's side 3-4 years, I think, and finally we got that chip. I'm happy for them because they really, and we had old heads too. Our old heads actually played too. So and I say old heads, 27, 28-year-olds, and they actually play and they made, it's great for them and the next generation. And we have a lot coming up. We have a lot of players coming up. So
you gotta reload.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're happy.
Now the thing about it is like I might have some B-roll going right here, but like it was a great game. Going into the fourth.
Great game.
And then out of nowhere, it's sort of that lucky ass corner three Boogie off the corner.
Shut that bullshit and it went in.
After that was a wrap.
Yeah, the bullshit. But I'll say this though, we were undermanned. I mean,
that was 7.
We had 7. And the tallest person was one person. Erica. They really did their thing, man. I hats off to all of them. They hit some big shots. Q hit a big shot. Dom hit some big shots. Jade Vega got busy. Boogie hit some big shots, and we had great stops. Kayla locked up. I can't say nothing bad about any.
Nah, it could have been 30 for 30.
The shit was fire, man.
It was a
good game. Like, that was a good ass game. And shout out to Munch and his program. They set the standard for us, and that was we go into every off season saying we have to beat them. No disrespect to other programs, but let me rephrase. Other teams. That they're the gold standard, and I'm happy that our team was able to beat them in the championship round.
Nah, for sure.
It was a great game. That was great B-roll content. I'll take that B-roll content. I'll throw that up. That was good shit. Proud of the team. Oh God.
For sure. Now, you and other, I would say, foundational guys within the space of basketball that helped coach me, such as yourself, Edwards, and other people for that matter, you know, what you guys have done behind the scenes, like for younger guys like myself, like we know what's going on, but like for everybody else that like does not know about the impact you guys, it's not to like shout you guys out, but it's like, you know, how important is it for like, you know, great men like ourselves in the space of basketball to not only like, you know, be on the grassroots side, but still have the impact to help further the development of professional players. Like how impactful is that? Because I don't think that gets talked about enough about the guys who can do both. You, my guy, Coach Harper, Edwards, like you guys have taken a lot of guys from, you know, middle school all the way to college and even down to the pros. And I believe that's a true test of a player developer, but more importantly, it just shows the range you guys possess.
Well, thank you. And Mark and Edwards, you're referring to, he and I speak often. And it's more so that I think what happens in this space, well, being that this is a relatively new space, there's no legacy development. By that I mean, Bobby Ray dies. Bobby Ray had a great popping organization, and when Bobby Ray was popping, but now he's passed on. R.I.P. Bobby Ray, who's taking over for Bobby Ray? So now, so that's why the company's not called Mark Williams. It's Footprintz. So somebody can come from my staff and take it over, because it's bigger than Mark Anthony Williams. It's bigger than me in that they can take it over, and then they can run with it because it's already established a name of it's trustworthy, honest, no bullshit. That goes with honest, and a fun, you know, a fun person, a fun organization. So they can take it and run with it. That's the problem that we have, and the same thing with you. So, or anyone that we mentor is when you want tenets of me to be throughout the space where everyone can take a little piece and then they could grow themselves so that they can become the next generation of motherfuckers. Same thing with basketball. You want them to take a little bit of your game in and out cross, so when they get to the next level, when they can show the move, and then they can get to the next level and teach a move, and say, I got this from Mark Anthony Williams. That's how it works.
That's valid, that's valid. All right, well, ending keynote. What do you have to give to the listeners and viewers in terms of what it takes to just be great at your craft? And this can be for any player, coach, even a parent trying to be a great parent to help their child out, sometimes not overstep the boundaries of developing their child in basketball. Like, what do you have to say for like developing your craft of all these years of being a coach?
Reps. Quality reps. Now, and obviously you can't necessarily equate that to parenting per se, but as far as being a trainer is shit. Like, this is the funny thing about this business, and I'm sure you know it also. One day you can train bowl.
Oh, don't get me started.
Right, you could train one day, you could train bowl on Tuesday, and you could be on a natural high, and then 20 minutes later, an hour later, then you're training little Ray on this level. So I think that we can't get so stuck in our ways to say that I only deal with these kind of players, because really at the end of the day,
it starts little Ray.
Ray becomes bowl, right? So you just can't just to stop at bowl and say I'm not coming back to fucking Ray. That's just the R word. That's like crazy to me. Like, right? So I think that we can't get too high. We can't get too low either. And I still lug my basketballs around, and they're in the trunk. I put them on my back, and I walk to the next gym. So I know that we've worked with this level player, but I'm well aware that this is the level that is just as important as that level. Like, what I do the same drills bowl as I would do with Ray. Obviously, there's more intensity up on that level. It's more and more advanced, but at the end of the day, it's still the same shit. So I think that's one of the biggest things that we have to understand within the space. And I think that that's where the impact really starts, is on Ray's level. It's Ray. If we could get a hold of Ray and get Ray under the wing in some way, shape, or form, or Ray's parents, and inform them of the truth, and stop allowing used car salespeople to take advantage of people and just bait and switch. I think that's where we do a good job. We're honest. Like, a kid asks us, or a parent, like, what level do you think you're at? I said, well, you could probably play here, but you're probably more successful here. Let's focus on this. It's like, it's nothing wrong with going D2 or something like that. Then when you can just go, you're going to play here, you're not going to play at NEC Division 1. So I think more honesty is needed in the space, but the space is in a good space. 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 The space is once you weed out all the bullshit, I'm sure in your field also the strength and conditioning, you see some gimmicks where somebody's trying to lift this brick and pull this brick and move quick with his hand, and it's just some bullshit.
Yeah, I believe it's adaptable to every space, but I believe more so due to social media. You can see the parallels in the private sector, because it's hard to see it in like the, I would say, school sector, because there's not a lot of cameras in there. You have to like go look at those colleges and stuff like that, see if there's any gimmicks. But private sector for sure, and it comes back down to like what you just said, the reps. If I'm just only focusing on used car salesman tactics and trying to focus on, you know, 10K a month, 8K a month and stuff like that, everything's gonna be like a funnel lead system, generated leads, all that stuff. But it's not about which seminar did I go to get better, which book did I read, which coach did I talk to, based upon the history of programming, what's the correlation and stuff like that. It's the same thing with training. It could be like, you know, what was you doing during this time of the year for the off-season programming? What you doing in season? How did you help impact them? It's just a parallel between both, but to come back to the private sector is that people just have to hold themselves accountable. I believe for myself, past 5 years, I definitely was listening to people like yourself and others, like, you know, still focused on making your bread and things of that nature. But the bread started to change when I went back to the format of, all right, I got the business side down pat, but now I have to focus on being the shit out my craft. Like, hands down, I'm the best. And I believe from there, and then also becoming a coach, embracing that, and actually trying to help people, is why I started to see a big difference in retentionship, and more importantly, just overall, who wants to be here or who doesn't. Because I feel like that's the biggest portion I'm embracing now as a coach. Like, I'm cool with losing out on a couple of figures over culture.
I agree with that.
Any day of the week.
I agree with that.
Because I feel like in 10 years, it's going to make a big difference as opposed to just trying to be wealthy or be rich right now.
Yeah, right now is a key word. Right now, like, you have that money in your pocket right now, but what about, is it sustainable? Sustainability is important. Yeah, so I think the reps are important. You got to get reps in. Like coaches clinic, like I said, when I started, I was in Nike coaches clinic. You know, I seen all the old heads. I seen Steve Lab, and I seen Izzo, all the Nike guys back in the days. I seen all of those guys, and I learned a lot. I still got notes from that, and that's like over 30 years ago. I pass them on to my son now, but I have all of that stuff. So reps, as far as being a coach, a trainer, is watch other people, see what you don't want to do, and then, you know, trial and error. Start with Ray and just practice with Ray.
Cause that's gonna be the best guinea pig you're gonna have.
Ray's gonna be the guinea pig.
Because them 5th grade reps ain't gonna mean nothing.
Man, because it's mean. I ain't gonna say it's meaningless, but
in that time,
because Ray at that point just want to have fun.
Exactly.
Right. So you just when you work on what, you know, hop over this and just spin off of that, whatever. You gotta work on your craft. Just like you want your player to get in the gym and get shots up, you have to get those reps in also. As far as the parent concerned, parents sometimes. Here it is.
Listen.
I, as a trainer, a skills guy, I don't go on the parent's job and tell them what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
Right? If you are an electrician, if you are a bookkeeper, you're an accountant, you're a doctor, lawyer, all the way judge, whatever. I'm not coming on your classroom and saying, teacher, this is what you should do. Don't come in mine. You brought your son or daughter to me. We spoke about what she or he needs to work on. Let me do my job. If you're at an AAU game, sit in the corner, shut the fuck up. You might have to beep this out, but shut up.
Yeah, we can do that.
Shut up. And let that person do his or her job. He doesn't need to, or she doesn't need to hear 12 fucking parents yelling, shoot the ball, shoot the ball, shoot the ball. Because sometimes leave my man Ray alone. Deuce over here. Deuce shouldn't be shooting. Deuce, your role is to go get that rebound and box out and give it to Ray.
And go
Ray. Let Ray get busy. Because I train Ray. Yeah, so I think that parents have to do a better job of minding their business.
No, I definitely agree with that. And to your point about the seminars, you actually are hosting one this weekend, the 24th.
Yep.
The assistants. And let's talk about, to end the pod, how did you first come about that? Was that from when you were inspired back then as a young coach to start doing this?
Yeah. So what happened was, like I mentioned, in 93, 94, 95, that whole era I was doing the circuits.
Yeah.
But then you sit back and look, because some of my friends then became assistant coaches, and they telling me, yo, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Like, what the fuck the head coach doing? I'm like, oh shit. So the assistant coach is doing a lot more than people perceive, right? But they don't get no love. They get no love.
No recognition.
So my thinking is they become head coaches at some point. So let me find out who's going to be the head coach. And then now that person is family with me as far as, I know a lot of coaches and stuff. So they'll be willing to come get that type of exposure for them because they're not getting any exposure, period.
Facts.
So if I come and help these guys out, these prospering head coaches, why not? And I do it for free because, again, back to my passion. Like this is my shit. Like I do basketball. I don't do basketball. That's it. So
that's real.
So why not give it to free? Because I'm in New York City, and not for nothing, the coaching culture is not that desirable. The actual coaching, not go hard. I mean, perfect example. At our championship game, I drew up a play, out of balance play, right? I knew what they were going to do. And again, this goes back to me having head coach experience. I know what the fuck they're going to do, right? So I said, high pick and roll, this person on the bottom, lift up and all that stuff, dribble, penetrate, kick, bang, jump shot, win the game, right? I'm not sure. There are a few that can go into a huddle and
execute like that.
Break it down. And this was a 30-second timeout. Now I'm dealing with pros, so let's preface that I had pro players, right? So they have a higher acumen as far as basketball is concerned. But 30-second shot clock, 30-second timeout, got it done, right? I'm not sure that people have the quick hitters and the mentality to get that done on the high school and definitely CYO levels. And I understand that, but we have to give them the tools to do it. And I want to be that person to help my side of the culture.
It's the same thing in my generation of coaches, for sure. I believe we have the relatability, a little bit different in this generation, but we lack the tools to, like properly, like you just said, have a quick hit action for late game situations and where the ball's coming from based on how they're playing, where's the shot going to come from, who's going to shoot it, and if that breaks down, what's our B and C option.
Right.
I can't speak for a lot, but I just know in my area, on my side of town, it's a reason why, there's great coaches, great men, but the success isn't there. It's just the basketball acumen isn't as high.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to win when you have good talent.
Oh, yeah.
And it's even easier to win when you have good talent that plays hard. And if you are let's go, what the fuck? That kind of coach, I mean, you have great talent, you're going to win.
Exactly.
Because you're going to out-athletic the other team or out-tough the other team. But when it's time for X's and O's, what we got? There's a reason why Princeton was winning those games in the 90s. They weren't the most skilled. They got shit done.
When you lose the Jimmys and Joes, it's time to go back to the X's and O's, man. Just saying.
But Jimmys and Joes win games. Yes. You win with Jimmys and Joes, but if you teach Jimmys and Joes how to X's and O's,
you got some
you got some shit. You got Jordan. You got a triangle. You got to think a little bit. You just can't just go. Like Mike tell you. Not tell us, but he told them. When I first got into the league, I would just get in and go it. But then I learned Tex came and Phil implemented this system, and I became him. And legitimately him. Cut it and then go back. Legitimately him. MJ.
Facts, for sure. Well, it was great, having a formal sit down this time, no Zoom, no interference.
Right.
I think this quality is going to be a lot better. It was great catch back up. So, I appreciate you for reiterating everything you talked about, because I believe on the first one, it was just talking about, basic stuff about being a skills trainer. I believe this time we had a deeper dive.
Right.
The intricacies and the systems behind being a real developer, and also your background and your culture, what you stand for.
Right. You asked me a question before, I think, about music.
Yeah.
What was the question about Ninth Wonder, or what music you listen to?
Yeah. What music you listen to on the way to the gym?
I don't know what my answer was. I know it was Ninth Wonder. It was Ninth Wonder. I'm going to say now. Yeah. I'm still old. I'm still going Jada Kiss, that whole, I can listen to that verses with Jada.
That night, it was me, you, Jelani, everybody else, you put on that Zoom.
Oh my God.
Yo.
I can go 90s all day, 2000s.
Somebody, I could die now, and on my deathbed, just play that. Just play verses.
That verse is amazing.
That was a performance. That was a massacre.
That verse is, Jada, Chic, Styles, Yeah. I don't know if you ever gonna see this. You probably won't. That was some shit. What was that? 2000.
That was right at the pandemic.
21.
Yeah.
Man, that was legendary. So that's me right there. That whole pocket right there. Like Nas is dropping like an album every 2 days.
Yeah.
Like that's my shit right there.
Nah, it's just my guy.
Appreciate it.
So much
Thank you.
always.
Got it. Anytime.
Sure. Always.